Children, today I'm trying to send a video again regarding the complex type of sentences and its learning, easy method of learning. Okay, why I'm sending it again? Because a few students they continuously they texted me regarding their queries and their doubts. So I think you need one more explanation in a video presentation. Okay, that's why teacher is doing it again. Okay, listen. What is a complex sentence? A complex sentences, we already learned two structures. You have to go through your previous video about complex sentence. Two structures. Structure 1 is independent clause plus dependent clause. Then structure 2 is dependent clause, comma, independent clause. These are the two structures for creating complex type of sentences. Okay, what is dependent clause? A dependent clause cannot stand by itself. It depends on an independent clause to help it to be a part of a complete sentence. Okay, what is a dependent clause? Dependent clause cannot stand by itself. It always depends some other part of a sentence, some other grammar part. Okay, an independent clause is a sentence that can stand by itself. Yeah, I already explained everything in the previous videos. Please go through the video for your clarification. Okay, see, we have many type of dependent clauses. A dependent clause always begin with subordinating conjunction. This is what the key word, subordinating conjunction, is a key word. I told you to remember, you to keep in your mind whenever you learn something about complex sentence. Okay, so what are the dependent clauses? You have many dependent clauses. So after, although, as long as soon as, because, before, even though, if, know that, since, though, unless, until, when, whenever, where, while, and many more. Okay, so how to create this with the help of this subordinating conjunction, how to create a complex sentence. Okay, always you have to keep another important note, that is, when a complex sentence begins with a dependent clause, a comma separate two clauses. That means whenever it start, a complex sentence start with a dependent clause, you have to use a comma after the dependent clause. Okay, all these are dependent clauses. Okay, so here one example for how to use dependent clause and create a complex sentence. Read this sentence. Since is a subordinating conjunction, right? We started since at the beginning. You can start in between or beginning. This is second type of structure. That means independent clause, dependent clause plus independent clause, comma, independent clause. That's the first structure. I'm going to tell one example. Since is a dependent clause. Depend means a sentence. Meg closed the bed is a sentence that depends a subordinating conjunction, right? We started with the since. Since Meg is a person name, lost the bet, comma, she had to do her brother's course. Okay, so that is a sentence for second type of structure. That means dependent clause plus independent clause. Okay, next is although. Although is another, see here, dependent clause or subordinating conjunction. Always subordinating conjunction begins with a dependent clause. Okay, so here, although Meg was annoyed, here in this sentence, this is a dependent sentence and we used one dependent clause here. Dependent clause means a sentence begins with subordinating conjunction. Understood? So do not get confused again. What is a dependent clause? A dependent clause begins with subordinating conjunction. See here, although. See, although Meg was annoyed, comma, our structure, see our structure, dependent clause, comma, then independent clause. She remained silent. These are example for structure 2. Next is structure 1. What is the structure 1? What is the structure 1? Independent clause plus dependent clause. Independent clause means a complete and meaningful sentence, right? See, Aiden, again a person name. Aiden sat on the sofa while Meg folded the laundry. That is the first structure example for the first structure. First structure example is how to create. First, you have to write a meaningful sentence. Aiden sat on a sofa is a complete meaningful sentence. That means it is an independent clause. Then, subordinating conjunction. While is a subordinating conjunction, right? While, subordinating conjunction, while. Subordinating conjunction. Again, one dependent clause. That means another sentence. That it's not a complete sentence. That Meg folded the laundry. This sentence depends a subordinating conjunction, that is while. Meg folded the laundry. Okay. The second sentence, Aiden sat on the sofa while Meg folded the laundry is an example for structure 1. Then, although Meg was annoyed, she remained silent. That is an example for structure 2. Okay. So, let's see how to create 2 sentences. Okay. See, here you have to take an A4 sheet paper or a chart paper, anything. Okay. And create a title. Complex sentences that start with independent clauses. Independent clause means no subordinating conjunction at the beginning. It doesn't depend any subordinating conjunction. Starting itself a complete meaningful sentence. Okay. So here I'm going to write, she is not hungry. She is not hungry. Okay, that is a complete meaningful sentence right here. Then taking one subordinating conjunction, because. Right here, because. Because. Then adding again dependent clause. She ate 3 donuts for breakfast. Okay, she ate 3 donuts for breakfast. Okay, so because she ate 3 donuts. Donuts means a type of sweet. Okay, you can buy it from the bakery. Donuts for breakfast. Okay, so here I started with complete meaningful sentence at the beginning. That means independent clause. Okay, then subordinating conjunction, that or then later adding one independent later adding one dependent clause. Dependent clause means she ate 3 donuts for breakfast. I added before because also. Okay, this sentence is always sticking on with the help of this subordinate conjunction. That's why we're calling it as dependent clause. Okay, this is what example for structure 1. That means independent clause plus dependent clause. Okay, another one next is we are going to write structure 2. Structure 2. What is how to create structure 2? Dependent clause, comma, independent clause. Okay. See here how to start the same sentence. I'm going to start this structure 2 with the help of a dependent clause. Dependent clause at the beginning. Whenever you are writing dependent clause at the beginning, you can create complex sentences in 2 methods, structure 1 and structure 2. But second time, whenever you're starting with a dependent clause at the beginning of a complex sentence, there is one thing you have to remember. When a complex sentence begins with a dependent clause, a comma separate 2 clauses. Okay, you have to add a comma. Okay, so see here how to create the structure 2. Because she ate 3, the same sentence only. There is no change in the sentence. Okay, only structure is changing. She ate 3 donuts for breakfast, then I'm putting a comma here. Okay, I'm adding a comma. She is not hungry. Okay, this is what second structure. I'm starting with an independent clause. Then there is another rule. If you start with independent clause, put a comma, then add the independent. Sorry, I will tell you again. Whenever you are starting with a dependent clause, put a comma, then add the independent clause. That means starting with a dependent clause, comma, then meaningful sentence again. Okay, so these are the two structures. This is a way I ask you to do the homework for this day. I think many of the students, they failed to do this homework. Then I ask you to follow some instruction also before doing the work, using some color pens for marking this and all. So please everyone, try to finish up your homework daily basis. Okay, do not make under pending. Thank you children. I hope you understood more about complex sentence.